My name is Anna Grace Phillips, and I will be presenting my project over correlations in mental health disorders, social media use, and gender in young adults. What is the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning? For many people, their answer is they roll over and grab their phone and check and see what was posted on any social media apps, who called them or texted them while they were sleeping, and it's just first instinct to grab your phone. Many people of our generation don't like to be away from their phone and really rely on social media to connect them to both their friends and their family. Men and women are treated very differently, though, when it comes to how social media affects them and how they use social media. Though women have been diagnosed with depression twice as often as men have higher suicide rates than women. This is because of the stigma that we as a society have placed for men. Men are supposed to be strong, leader of the household. They're not supposed to be emotional beings, and they really internalize all of their feelings in order to fit this stigma in most cases. Though men struggle with body image, comparison, and jealousy just as much as women do, and social media is just a fair game play for all of those things to happen. Though men are less likely to go to therapy than women, this means that women get their mental health disorders diagnosed more than men. Though men have higher rates of suicide than women, these are shown to be closely linked with conformity to traditional masculine norms that we have really set in place for these men. The key words for my project are social media, body image, comparison, male, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and dating apps. I chose these because I feel like these words, when put together, really describe my project very well and make it very concise. For my first literature review, I want to review the article of the relationship between social media use and disordered eating in young adolescents. So, this article goes and follows many different young adults and sends out surveys for them to get numbers based on how disordered eating links to their social media usage. In this article, we see that disordered eating behaviors were reported by 51.7% of girls and 45% of boys. So the disordered eating behaviors that they see are the most common were skipping meals and strict exercise. So with disordered eating, we see that really having an increase in our society because of social media, because of the comparison that we see. Oh, they're much skinnier than I am. I should go and I should run and skip this meal. But what we don't see is how they might have had their body positioned to hide a certain role, or how they might have edited the photo. This is something that really stands out to me when looking at social media, because social media is not real. It is fake. Photos are edited, and this can cause many mental health disorders in both men and women, but women are more closely studied than men, which is the purpose of my project. Girls with Snapchat and Tumblr accounts and boys with Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram accounts were significantly more likely to have disordered eating behaviors than those who did not have these accounts. This is a clear indication that social media has really changed the way that we view ourselves in comparison with how we view others. Greater daily time spent using Instagram was associated with significantly higher global eating disorders or disordered eating behaviors. For my second literature review, I wanted to focus on the article of A Closer Look at Appearance in Social Media, Measuring an Activity, Self-Presentation, and Social Comparison to Their Associations with Emotional Adjustment. So, in this article, we see that the most popular aspect of social media is the use of virtual interactive tools to modify pictures. So, with all of the apps that are out in the App Store, men and women are able to edit their photos to be exactly what they want, whether they add cool designs, whether they change their body shape, or make their teeth look whiter or their skin look tanner. This is just some of the few examples of how people modify their looks on social media. But this is becoming a huge problem because social media use directly links with two major concerns of adolescents, which is fitting in and their appearance. So, when looking at social media and how that affects people's appearance, it is a constant one-up game in social media. You constantly want to do better than the one that you're looking up to. If someone looks very good in a bikini, you want to run and skip all of your meals just to look good in some cases. Now, women are thought to be more susceptible to this disordered eating behavior and stigma to wanting to fit in and change their appearance. But men are just as susceptible to fall into this as women are. In this article, we talk about how many adolescents and young adults, including both men and women, report a great deal of concern about their appearance, that they feel judged by others on social media, or they want to conform to the social ideas that are set for them. For my third literature review, I want to look at the article of Multimodal Mental Health Analysis in Social Media. So this article was very interesting in that it looked at how young adults that use more than one social media account, how that changes their view on themselves. So using social media, like we talked about, is a daily life for most adolescents and young adults. Many people use social media not only to talk to themselves, but in some cases they use it to advance their careers. Many Instagram models, as you would call them, or social media influencers, social media is their job. They're on it every single day. And this can be very traumatizing to young adults when they're thrown into this so early on in their life. For example, in a study of university women, Facebook was associated with more body image concerns than anything else in 2015. So when looking at a college campus and social media, we see that whenever you're able to compare yourselves to your peers, it leads to more mental health disorders. In a second study, after coding websites according to their level of appearance-related content, more frequent use of these sites was associated with the thin ideal. So the ideal, you need to be skinny to be liked, and you need to be skinny to be famous, is something that has really been pushed with social media culture in the past couple of years. And that is something that I want to look at because it's not only women that are falling into this trap, it is men as well. Though social media can be a great outlet for people to express their true selves to an audience that really understands them, social media is different because it allows you to find your corner of the internet, where you can find people that have the same interests as you, the same likes as you, and they can truly understand what you're going through. Now, this can be very dangerous because this can lead to child grooming. It can lead to many appearance-related disorders. And so we intend to show, by looking at how men and women feel about social media, we will be able to see a correlation in their mental health, and we want to compare the differences in men and women for how they feel about mental health and whether they would choose to get help. And like I said earlier, women are thought to have higher rates of depression, or shown to have higher rates of depression, whereas men have higher suicide rates. And this directly correlates to the stigma that society has placed in. My first hypothesis is alternatively, we intend to show that men who use social media the same amount as women will suffer more mental health issues, but they will remain untreated. And the second hypothesis is that we further intend to show a significant correlation between social media use and depression that will later lead to suicide. That is, we predict that men will be less likely to recognize their own mental illnesses and will lead to more suicides than women. And we see that is a direct play. My demographic variables are age, gender, classification, ethnicity, marital status, hometown, religion, and sexuality. The main variables for this project are depression, suicide, social media, comparison, and outside stressors. So I really wanted to focus on these because social media is what we are studying, but depression and suicide are the outcomes of social media of what we're studying, and comparison is also goes along with social media. So for our methods, we will be sending out a short survey to around 50 participants, University of Arkansas Fort Smith students around the ages of 18 to 25 years of age. They must be active social media users, and they will be at various stages of marital statuses. So the survey that will be sent out will be on a Likert scale, and one will be how they feel about social media, and the other will be how they feel about themselves when they're using social media. The survey will be sent out via email, and it will be sent out to the inbox of students specifically in Greek life, because that is what we have access to. We will observe the differences between the men's answers and the women's answers and compare them to see the gender differences in how they feel about social media and how they feel about themselves on social media. Though there are no direct benefits to the survey, the information that we will be gathering is very important to this project, and there are also no serious risks. The questions do concern mental health, where some people might not feel comfortable answering those questions. They have a right to withdraw at any time, and their name will not be on the survey in any way, just their age. So confidentiality and the right to withdraw are very important. So I want to take a little bit of a glance at the questions that we will be asking and how they will be able to rate. So on the first scale, they will rate these statements of strongly agree, somewhat agree, neutral, somewhat disagree, and strongly disagree. So the first question will be, I think that the men and women on Instagram look better than I do. So this this particular scale really goes into how they feel about themselves on social media. So we'll be asking about how they compare themselves. I would do anything to look like the men and women in Instagram, even starve myself. This really goes into how far they're willing to go. Some more of the questions include, the videos I see online influence the amount of food I eat. Because of social media and the models I see on Instagram, I want to lose weight. And so this kind of, this scale in particular really looks at how they view themselves and how they treat themselves based on what they see on social media. Whereas the second one we're able to look at is how they view social media as a whole. So some of the questions are, I enjoy social media. I do not compare myself to others on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. My friends and I get on social media together. My friends and I often hang out outside of social media, and I feel happy when I get off of social media. So with these questions, we will be able to see the correlations in how their mental health disorders and how social media relates to that. We expect that with this survey, men and women who spend the same amount of time on social media will have very different views on social media. We expect that men will have either the same amount of mental health problems or more than women. We expect that men who seek therapy will lead to less suicides because of social media. And these are my references. Thank you so much for your time and allowing me to present this to you.